Hi guys, Jim here again, back with another Sudoku themed video for you. So really pleased to be playing through these games, apps, I don't know what you call them, collections of puzzles presented by the Cracking the Cryptic team. They're fantastic guys on YouTube. Go check them out, link in the description, etc. If you've watched my first two, this is my third video. If you watched the first two, I've done a classic and a thermo. So now we're looking at Arrow Sudoku. So many of you won't have heard of Arrow Sudoku. I certainly hadn't before I started watching Cracking the Cryptic. And Arrow Sudoku. So you know when your friends complain that they can't do Sudoku because they can't do maths, and you're like, well, you don't have to do maths, but by which they mean mental arithmetic. And they say, oh well, you know, I can't do maths. It's got a load of numbers. It's nothing to do with maths. It's just logic. Arrow Sudoku is the first of the variants where you actually do need to be able to add stuff up, which you will see as we go through it. As I say, and as I've said in my other videos, this is a collection of puzzles from Cracking the Cryptic. They are all handcrafted. They are very lovely puzzles, and yeah, they're really hard. So please bear with me. So we'll see how I get on. So what is Arrow Sudoku? Well, I'll show you when I actually have the Sudoku on the screen. As a reminder, the way that these apps are set up is basically the puzzles are given star ratings representing their difficulty, and you collect stars as you go, and in order to play the later puzzles you need to earn stars by playing the earlier ones, which is straightforward enough. Now, I only have one puzzle available to me in Arrow Sudoku, so let's just jump into it. Right, puzzle number 1. Welcome to Arrow Sudoku. In Arrow Sudoku, every row, column and box must have all numbers from 1 to 9 exactly once. Usual set of Sudoku rules there. In addition, the numbers along the shaft of each arrow must sum to the number at the base. Good luck. Thank you for the good luck. I will probably need it. Right, so it's quite interesting there, right? So what does that mean in practice? So in practice, what does that mean is that this number, okay, whatever digit goes in this cell, in this box, in this row, in this column, right, which could be 1 through 9, these numbers will add up to that number. If you think this is, so there's 6 in a row, but this could be a 7, so this was a 7, these would be the numbers 1, 2 and 4. And I know that off the top of my head because you can only make 7 with 3 digits using the numbers 1, 2, 4. That's the only way you can kind of fit it. 6 is 1, 2, 3. 9 can be made in different ways, and obviously the higher the number, the more ways you can make it add up to itself. The interesting thing here, so this Sudoku does show this actually. Numbers can repeat on an arrow. So if the normal rules of Sudoku allow it, numbers can repeat, which is quite useful actually, because this is a 4-cell arrow, and if you add up the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, you get 10, right? And that immediately breaks Sudoku. You can't put 10 in a Sudoku. So you can actually repeat a number along an arrow if it's allowed under the rules of Sudoku, right? So I couldn't repeat 1 here, so if I put a 1 there and a 1 there, then obviously they're in the same box. Or in the same column in this case, but here that and that could be different numbers. Could be the same number. That'd be fine. And in fact, we know that you're going to have to repeat a digit along this because you can't. As I say, if this was the numbers 1 through 4, it wouldn't work. Right. So let's give this a go, shall we? As I say, I'm sort of mostly ignoring the times for now. We'll see. Maybe I can get there one day. So arrow is an interesting one, right? So you can jump straight to the arrows, you can do bits and pieces on the actual Sudoku itself. Now if I look at this row, some interesting things about arrows. You can't really put very high numbers on an arrow, because so if you try to make that a 6, right, you're immediately in trouble, because then you've got to stick 3 other numbers on it and have a number in there that's less than 9, or 9, less than or equal to 9. So you can't really make these arrows very big. Another interesting thing here then, so if I look, actually this is an interesting place to start. The longer arrows are usually more powerful arrows to start with. So if I look on this, I need to put these 3 digits all need to be different because they're in the same column. This one can be the same as one of these two. It couldn't be the same as that, but it could be the same as one of these two. But these all have to be different. And interestingly, I can't use 3 or 4. So the lowest numbers I can put here are 1, 2, and 5. And 1, 2, and 5 already add up to 8. So if that's 1, 2, and 5, I can just about fit a 1 there and get a 9. And that's the lowest I can possibly go, and 9 is the maximum I can put in there. So in fact, I know that that's a 9. And I also know that that is a 1, 2, and 5 in some order. In fact, I know the order because I've got 2 and a 5 here. So that's a 1. That 5 clashes with that 5 in the box, so that's a 2, and that's a 5. And then if I put a 1 here, that makes this arrow complete. So that's a good start, I think. Now, what else do we know? Well, this is an interesting one here. So, as I was saying before, the lowest I can make this is a 6. So this is 1, 2, and 3. They all need to be the same. If this is 1, 2, and 3, that has to be a 6 or higher. But there's already a 6 in the row, so I know it's not a 6. There's an 8 in here, so it's either a 7 or a 9. It has to be something. It's going to be a 7 or a 9. Don't know any more than that. Can I say the same thing about this? Not quite. This could be a 6. It could be an 8 still. So this could be 6, 7, or 9. I can't put a 3. Actually, that's interesting. I can't put a 3 here. Which rules out 6, in fact, because 6 you would need 1, 2, and 3. So I can get rid of that 6. So this is a 7, 9 pair in the row. So the interesting thing here, right, I don't know which order it is, but I know that that's a 7 or a 9, and therefore that's a 7 or a 9. And there's no room for anything else. If I wanted to make that a 5, well, this would need to be both a 7 and a 9. So while I don't know the order, I know that in this row there are no other 9s or 7s, effectively. And I know, more importantly, nothing else can go in these cells, so those cells are taken. Right, what can we do? This row is quite powerful, isn't it? Let's go back here. So, what am I missing? I'm missing 8 and 7. Now, the interesting thing I was saying here, right, I can't possibly put an 8 or a 7 on this cell because it would ruin the arrow. If I put an 8 here, if I put a 7 here, I could still reach 9 if I were able to put 2 1s next to it. 7 plus 1 plus 1. But obviously I can't put 2 1s next to each other here. So that can't be 7 or 8. So what else am I missing? I'm missing a 4. So that must be a 4. Oh, need it to be a big 4. That's a 4, and therefore this is a 7 and 8. And in fact there's an 8 there, so that must be a 7, and that must be an 8. Which actually that gives me an 8 up here as well, which is nice. A little Brucey bonus, wasn't expecting that. Right, now what does this mean? So this means these two cells here, if this is a 7, these two add up to 3, so this would be a 1 and a 2. Or if it's a 9, it adds up to 5, and that could be 2 and 3, or, well, the other way to make 5 from 2 digits is with a 4, 1 and a 4, but I've already used a 4 in this box, so I can put another 4 here. So this is either a 1 or a 2, 1 and a 2, or a 3 and a 2. And interestingly, there's a 2 in the box. So there's definitely a 2 here, whichever way round it is. And there's a 2 in the box, so that's a 2. And in fact, so this can either be a 1 or a 3. So depending on if this is a 7 or a 9, that'll be a 1 or a 3. 7, right, so I know a trick here, that 7 from 3 digits, 3 different digits, has to be 1, 2, and 4. It's the lowest you can make it. There's no other way, I should say. And that 4 in the box helpfully gives me a 4 here. So this is a 1, 2 pair in the box. So those 2 cells are taken. And in the column as well, in fact. so I can't put a 1 or a 2 in these cells either. Right, let's keep going around looking at these arrows. So can't put a 4 on this arrow, that's quite interesting. This could still be a 6, 7, 8 or 9. I think that's not as helpful as I'd have liked. What about this one? This arrow's at a weird angle, but it's all contained within one box. So these still have to be different. And in fact, I can't put a 4 or 5 on. So I can either make this a 1, 2 and 3, in which case there would be a 6 there, or can I get away with not putting a 1? If I didn't put a 1, I could have 2, 3, and then I have to jump to 6. 2, 3 and 6 adds to 11, which I can't put in there. So it's definitely a 1 here, and there's a 1 there, right? So I know there's a 1 on one of these two cells. I don't know which one it is. And then what else can I put here? So if I do 1, 1, 2 and 4, can't be 1, 2 and 4, so that can't be a 7, can't be an 8 because there's an 8 in the box. So and it can't be a 9 because of that. So in fact it is a 6, and this is a 1, 2 and 3. Well, I know that 1 can't go there, a 3 can't go there, and that can be all of them. Ah, no, it can't. Yes, you see, here's the power of the double, the pair. So we've got a 1, 2 pair here. So that cell cannot have a 1 or a 2 because they're both needed up here. So that must be a 3. And then that gives me this 2, which gives me this 1. How lovely. So I know that there's a 1 on this arrow somewhere now because of these two 1s. Just ruling it out in this box. Okay, what else we got going on? Well, I know that there's a 7 in one of these two. And there's a 7. Ugh, lingering. There's a 7 there. And a... what am I missing? A 9. How about them apples? Looking at... Have I done all the arrows yet? No, I still haven't done this arrow. Can't have a 3 now. I can't have a 3, which rules out a 6. Because I'd need this to be 1, 2, 3 for it to be a 6. So it's definitely not a 6. It could still be an 8 or a 9. If there's a 1. 1, 3 and 4. Ah, now interestingly, can it be an 8? Well, there are 2 ways to make 8 from 3 digits. So it's not quite as helpful as a 6 or a 7 in which there's only 1. There are 2 ways to make an 8. It's either 1, 3 and 4, or it is 1, 5 and 2. And it can still be that. Damn it. I thought I was onto something. Maybe I just need to do a bit of regular Sudoku here. What am I missing from this row? 9 and 6. 9 and 6 from there. Ah, right. But can I put a 9 on an arrow? No, you can never put a 9 on the shaft of an arrow. So that must be a 6. That gives us a 9. That in fact gives us an 8 as well, which is nice. Right, so what does this 6 mean here? Well, obviously we can't have a 7 now because I'd have to put a 1 and a 0, which isn't available to me. So that's a 9. That's a 7, which we know sorts this out as a 1. So there's your 1, 2, 4. These need to be a 1, 2 pair. To get a 9 with a 6 in it, you need to then have 3 remaining, which can only be 1 and a 2. There's a 1 down there. So that is a 1. That is a 2. What else? These are a pair of 2s. Well, not a pair of 2s. There's the 2 in here somewhere. There's a 2 in here somewhere. There's a 2 there. What else have we got going on? Well, okay, so yes, so I was saying before, we know this is an 8 now. We've been given that, and it can't be 1, 3, 4. So this must be 1, 5, and 2. And in fact, look, the 2's help us out here. So there's definitely a 2 on this arrow because it's the only way left to make the 8. So that needs to be a 1, 5, 2, and the 2 has to go there. The 1 has to go there, so because there's a 1 already in this row. So that's a 1. That's a 5 to make the sum complete for the 8. That gives us a last 2. Is that our last 2? No, not quite. Here's our last 2. That's been available for ages, I think. 2 and 1. Have I got any more 1s to place? I have. There's a 1. And there's a 1. That's 1s and 2s gone. You find that with arrows, you often get rid of the low numbers, the very low numbers and the very high numbers first, because they're the more obvious ones you can deduce using arrow clues. And that's all my arrow clues, in fact. So now we're just left with a regular rolled Sudoku. So what am I missing from this row? 5. In fact, I can do better than that because there's a 5 in the box. So that is a 5, and therefore in this row I need a 6. I can complete this 6 over here and over here. I'm down. I can finish 6s off completely, I think. Yes, I can. That's nice. What can I do on 7s? Not a lot at the moment. Let's just keep... 8. Put an 8 there. Because of this 8 and this 8. Seeing most of the box. And that means there's an 8 here. Which gives us an 8 here. Is that all the 8s? That is all the 8s. How lovely. What we're saying about 9s. Can't finish off 9s just yet. Although there is a 9 in this column. And it can't be there. Because there's a 9 already in the box. So there's your 9. Which gives us this 9. Which gives us this 9. In fact, I think this gives me all the 9s. Yep, 9s are now done. Can I finish off 7s yet? I feel like we're very close. Yes, there's a 7. Does that... Oh, that doesn't actually break the back of it. Okay, let's go back to 3 then. Can I finish off 3s? I can put a 3 here. Sorry, that is not a 3. That's a, there you go. Oh, what's left? Oh, that's a 5 there. Oh, and then in the box there is a 4. Which gives us a 4 there, actually, which is nice. 4s are a little X. Excuse me. 4s are in a little X shape there. So what we've got left up here, we've got a 3 and a 3 and a 3. Oh, and another 3 and one final 3, and that then sorts out the 4s that I was just talking about. That gives us a 7. What can this possibly be? This must also be a 7. This must also be a 7. This must be a 5. And then finally... complete? Yeah! Puzzle number 1. Yes. Did it! So yeah, that was the first of the Arrow Sudoku puzzles. As I say, go check out Cracking the Cryptic. They are a fantastic YouTube channel, much better solvers than me. They do much more interesting and difficult puzzles than this as well. Go check them out, support them, whatever you want to do. And yeah, I will see you next time. Cheers!